Hey y'all, I'm back with another process video for the Hip Kit Club, and I'll be working in my traveler's notebook today, and I'll also be creating a Project Life spread. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to cut up some paper for my traveler's notebook spread. And if you haven't seen, I'll link the video down below, but I created this traveler's notebook, so it's not perfect. But I created it from scratch, and I have a video showing you how I did that, and I created it with some cardstock or some pattern paper that we got in our Hip Kit Club from May, I believe. And now I'm going to be working in it. I'm going to work on the second page and I'll be using the June kits. So right now I'm just trying to figure out what papers I'm going to be using for the background of my spread. I really wanted to cover both of the pages because and they are pretty thin. I used printer paper, and so I right now am working on covering up these papers. But like I said, the notebook itself isn't perfect, and so I do have some uneven pages and whatnot. So anyway, it doesn't really bother me because it is, after all, it's just scrapbooking. So what I'm going to do is try to add a little bit of my thin washi from my stash just to kind of like hold down the paper because I did notice that it was kind of puffing up a little bit, but that didn't work. And so I pulled some of the washi tape that we got in our kits. I think it was 2 kits ago, maybe. And this is Dear Lizzie washi tape, I believe, and I think you can even color on it if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, I ended up using that just to kind of add a little detail, but also to kind of hold those pages together, and that ended up working out just fine. And I like kind of that pop of like not really black and white, but just kind of that pop of black that comes, kind of the sketchy black look that comes through the middle of the page there. So now I have a picture of my baby when I just had her and we were still in the hospital. And this picture is of her little IV that they had to change. I don't know how many times. I think the first time it was like in her arm. Oh, wait, no, her hand. And then the second time it was on her head, which freaked me out. And the third time they may have done it in her leg at one point. Honestly, I can't remember anymore. I think they changed it 3 or 4 times because it would like pop out. Um, and so while that was like a really difficult time to like see her like that, I also um, feel like there's some really sweet moments and stuff. And so, and she was a newborn, and the reason she had an IV and had to get antibiotics was because they were fearful that she had an infection based on some of her vital signs. Anyway, all that to be in her temperature, which all changed the day after. But anyway, the point is that we took some really sweet photos of her, and even though it was hard to like stay in the hospital for a week, we still managed to capture some of these moments. So anyway, I wanted to document those. So I am layering up. What I've done so far is I've added a couple of little pieces. I added a butterfly from the Vicki Boutin collection, and I just cut it in half, or cut it like 3/4 of it, and put that on the right side, and then the other part I put on the left side up at the top. And then the text is from the Pink Fresh Studio. I think it's the Dream On collection, if I'm not mistaken. And now I'm adding some little Bella Boulevard puffy stars. I added a couple layering pieces behind my photo that are also from Vicki Boutin, just like a couple of little, like a little ledger paper type of tag, and then, or I guess it's more of like a card, and then the other one's a tag. And then I added a couple of stickers from the Bella Boulevard. I think it's the Make Your Mark collection, maybe. I think I keep forgetting what collection it is, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. And then I added a couple little text pieces from the Crepe Paper Oasis collection. Even though that collection is, I think, built for like getaways and weekends and beachy type of things, there were still some really sweet sayings, and so I was able to use those for this spread. And I added the date, and then that was it. And you guys will see some final photos at the end, so I promise I will add those in. And I'm moving on to my Project Life spread. Now, you'll notice I mentioned this, I think, in my last Project Life spread, that I had a lot of photos that were from one event, and I wanted to keep them all together. And when I said I had a lot of photos, it was really hard for me to choose which ones I wanted to use because I really loved all of them. And so I just decided to, because I have enough space, I just added pretty much the rest of the photos that I had in, because these will go on the back side. Now, I realize that I'm not using any card. Well, I'm using one card and then I'm using lots of photos. But I think this is a great example of how you can use lots of photos. If you're like kind of if you shy away from using a lot of photos because you feel like it's just too much or it's too busy, I think it's a good way to kind of show you guys that you can lightly embellish photos and it still turns out like a really fun Project Life spread. And so the first thing I'm going to do, because I have some white space up at the top of this photo, I'm going to simply add a title. And I think that shows that it was a party and that's what we were doing that day. Obviously, if years from now I look back at this and I don't know that it's a party, something might be wrong with me. But anyway, so I did end up putting that kind of as a title. And then I like the fact that there's some numbers in I think it's in came in the Vicki Boutin ephemera pack, and I added number 2 because Ava's little friend Zoe turned 2, and it's also one of my coworkers, or one of my previous coworkers' daughter, and so we went to their party, and so I thought it'd be fun to add just a little 2, and I think it went well with the hot air balloon. And I'm adding just a bunch of little pieces of ephemera right on top of the pictures. Now, a lot of the Vicki Boutin ephemera pieces have adhesive on the back, especially the label pack has adhesive on the back. And so I was able to add those right to the photos, and on one of them I added the date. It's one of the photos in the middle. And then on this one I wasn't really quite sure what I wanted to do, so I added a little floral piece from the Lovely Day collection. And then I'm looking at puffy stickers and chipboard stickers from Amy Tangerine. I'm still not quite sure what I want to do with that bottom photo of my daughter and another little boy that came to the party. He was smiling. It was real cute. And so I ended up adding Saturday, and then I wanted to add fun right underneath. So the Saturday part came from the Oasis sticker sheet, and then the fun, I noticed on these Bella Boulevard stickers that I had already used an N, and it did not come with a second one. And so I attempted to make my own, which was a fail. And so I ended up adding what did I end up adding? Oh, the Z. I ended up adding a Z and just turning it sideways, which I was kind of proud of myself because I never can think of those things in the moment. And then I see other people do that and I'm like, oh, I could have just used another letter, or I could have just been creative with it. And I have a hard time with that. And so I was like, I'll just use the Z, and it ended up looking fine. So again, I'm just adding some stickers, adding staples for a last minute touch. And then that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this process, and let me know if you have any questions. Talk to you later. Bye.